some of the things that you're really good at are a byproduct of necessity. If you wanted to go to college in a different state, you had to learn how to drive so you could drive a car there or bring all your stuff and drive it back. It's the same with your goals. There is a list of skills that will be required for you to succeed at the level that you want to.
If you look at our old episodes versus this episode, you should see a huge increase in improvement when it comes to effective communication. Even me doing top down is probably an L because most people think bottom up. So I'm a macroscopic thinker. Most people are microscopic thinkers. So they start with today and then they go to the week and then they go to, whereas I go to the decade and then reverse engineer.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1884, you're going to love this title, Alan, a very unsexy thing that's worth understanding. Who was I talking to the other day? I was talking to somebody, I was coaching somebody. Oh, I was coaching Bianca and Emilia. And at one point, I was joking. I said, I actually manifested what we're talking about today because I wanted to talk to you guys about speaking. And the entire call was about speaking.
Nice.
And communication, and it was awesome. And I think it was Emilia that asked me, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying it. She said something along the lines of, why has it been so valuable for you to speak as much as you have? And I said, because speaking is a skill that carries over to almost everything that you do. If you can speak effectively, you can negotiate effectively. When you go to buy a car or something and you can speak as well, if not better than them. I'm a coward, so they take me for everything I have. So that's another skill worth acquiring and building. But it's a skill that you use every day. And I think the stronger the speaker you are, the better off you are in almost every social situation. I'm doing the best man speech. I'm nervous as heck. I might pee my pants. I gotta turn my light on here. Hold on. I didn't have my light on. Rookie move. I might pee my pants. But
so much better.
The light.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the
NLU
studio
branding.
The studio's set up in a way. If you haven't seen us on YouTube, make sure you check out YouTube because Alan and I have nice little studios going at home. I'm getting a haircut this week too. That's exciting news. But yeah, I think speaking is one of those skills that just crosses over to everything else. I think sales is another one of those. I used to hate sales. I used to hate the thought of it, even the word sales. But being able to effectively communicate why a choice is in alignment for someone, that's all sales really is.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, if I want Alan to do something, like go to the movies, and he's like, Kev, I don't know if I really like movies about sharks. And I say, no, Alan, you have to understand, there is so much depth to this movie. It's not just about the shark. It's about what the shark represents in the world. Growth, evolution. It's great.
I'm in.
He's in. So,
But that's because he knew me. Yeah.
That's because I knew you. So we're talking about skills and creating skills and skill development, skill acquisition. That's what I got for you. This is definitely isn't my, I would say this definitely isn't my strong suit. Real quick before I'll add this and then I'll let you jump in. Alan taught me this and I didn't like it and I still don't really like it. But there's mastery, impact, and profitability. Mastery is essentially skill development. It's getting really, really, really good at something. When you get really good at something, you're able to impact more people. And then when you're able to impact more people, eventually you're able to profit from that. But it's really hard to profit from something that you're not skilled at. Boom.
So you have a UFC sweatshirt on?
Thank you for noticing.
And
yes, I do.
In UFC, I asked you one time, I said, if I were to train one martial art to feel like I could easily defend myself, I got jumped in the Providence Place Mall once, and ever since then I've really wanted to not only lift and be much stronger, which I did start lifting heavy after that, but I also wanted to eventually do a martial art. And I asked Kev, which of the modalities of martial arts should I master if I want to be able to Hadouken someone if they were to ever mess with Emilia or I? And he said, Muay Thai. I always mix it up with Mai Tai.
Very
Muay
different
Thai?
things.
Yeah. Muay
Very
Thai
different.
and Mai Tais are very different. And if you do Muay Thai while drinking Mai Tais, it's going to get really dangerous. But anyways, the art of 8 limbs is what you called it.
Yes.
So you use elbows, hands, feet, all that. Okay, I don't know much about fighting. Emilia does Muay Thai. She's going to teach me. I'm super excited. That will happen eventually. I'm so freaking pumped. And she actually was really freaking good at it, apparently. But that's skill acquisition. So mastery, impact, profitability. Who's the fighter that you think is the best in the world?
John Bones Jones, who's actually fighting this Saturday at Madison Square Garden.
Nice. Okay. John Bone Jones probably knows.
John Bones Jones, yeah.
Whatever, man. I don't care. All right. So with all the love.
He's an engineer.
Yeah,
He's
I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. So I don't really care his name. I just want to make the concept land. But yeah, John Bone Joan, man. Bear pig. All right. So anyways, he's good at, I'm assuming, grappling. He's good at Muay Thai. He's
everything.
He's good at everything. Okay. So he's the most versatile fighter.
Yes.
Essentially. Okay. I'm assuming he's having a very large impact in the industry. So much, in fact, that Kevin is offended that I don't know his name.
He's kind of an anomaly because he's been involved in many negative situations. So probably not the best example.
Okay. So he's not having a positive impact?
No, he did a hit and run in his vehicle with a pregnant lady. He's not a good man. He's not a good man. Not a good person.
Oh, geez. Okay. So you're not offended that I got his name wrong. Okay. So bad example, but he's very profitable, I'm assuming. He makes a lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how profitability actually works, even though we're never taught this, unfortunately. You master a skill, and then that skill is very needed in the world, and then you impact others with that skill, regardless of whether or not this is a good man. He is impacting a lot of people and influencing a lot of people with that skill. Meaning a lot of people are watching him fight this weekend, I'm assuming, like millions of people.
This will be a big UFC, I'm guessing, yes.
All right, how many millions of people will be watching him fight this weekend if you had to
Well,
guess?
we're probably gonna have, I mean, it's on pay-per-view, so you got to pay for it. So anything north of 1 million pay-per-view buys is really successful, and then when it comes out on the internet, there'll be a lot of people streaming it, buying it illegally. So I'd say probably 2 to 3 million.
Okay, and then sponsorships, all that. Okay, so tons of impact regardless of whether it's positive or not. And then he's going to profit tremendously from that. How much do you think he'll make from that fight?
Probably cool 12 million.
$12 million?
If I had to guess, yeah.
Oh my God.
He's regarded as the greatest mixed martial arts fighter of all time. So he's like number one. He's like the Tom Brady of, except Tom Brady was not as bad of a person.
I concur. I think Tom Brady so far has been a very strong role model. But anyways, okay, mastery, skill acquisition. If he didn't develop all those skills, he not only would be a shithead, but he would also be not profitable. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my point is skill acquisition. I have this system that I take everyone through, and it's an iceberg, and you've seen it before. I've talked about it before, but ultimately I used to have it over here, so I don't anymore, so I don't have it memorized yet. But ultimately there's a little boat on this image that I always say is the Titanic, which I think is funny, but also probably not the best metaphor. But ultimately the idea is you see the iceberg dead ahead. Titanic movie reference, one of Kevin's favorite movies. Kevin's favorite movie.
100%.
You smell ice, can you? You see the iceberg, but you don't see underneath. And it looks like in the film, when you watch the film, it looks like they're going to miss it. And then you look underneath the water and it's, oh no, we're not going to miss it at all. Hammered that thing. Four compartments. But beneath the iceberg of every outcome is tools, metrics, habits, resources. Skills is one of them. Choices, I have a whole bunch. Core values, blah, blah, blah. There's probably 15 categories. And that's what I take people through. I actually took one of my clients, Nikita, through that earlier today, and it was green, yellow, red. In other words, are you doing really well or are you not in these areas? And it was a lot of green. One of the ones that was yellow, she wouldn't mind me sharing this, was skills. I said, how much clarity do you have on the skills you need to develop in order to achieve your big goals? She said, not enough. I said, okay, that's where we got to focus. So what are the skills? And I told Kevin this, I texted him. I don't think a lot of people have enough clarity on the skills they need to develop in order to actually achieve the results that they want in their life. So, everyone wants to be financially free, but not everyone wants to master finance. And you can't really be financially free, at least if you're not generational wealth, without mastering finance to at least some degree.
Yep.
And so, Kev, what I wanted to ask you is, you were someone who didn't focus as much on skill acquisition. I think you did somewhat, bodybuilding, obviously mixed martial arts, but in business and finance and that kind of thing, you had these goals and dreams, but you didn't necessarily reverse engineer the skills necessary to achieve them. So what I wanted you to do is, as the CSO, Chief Sales Officer, someone who has developed the skill of helping other people understand a concept like you understand it so that they're sort of sold on it, for lack of better phrasing, what would you say to past Kev to get past Kev to develop more skills?
I would probably use fitness as an example, because that's the thing that I had the most skill at. I worked out with a gentleman today. His name is Bruce, 78 years old.
Nice.
Flat press, flat dumbbell press, 60s.
Nice.
For a set of it was like a haggard 5. And he was yelling, he was screaming. But he's 70, my goodness.
How old is he? 78?
76, 78?
76. That's wild.
Something like that.
Good for him, man.
Jacked.
My right shoulder feels like it's going to fall off with 80s. This dude's 78.
It's just
hammering
cranking.
it.
He works out every day. Loves it.
Good for him.
Loves it.
Good for him.
So I was leading the workout today. And the reason I am capable of leading the workout is because I have skills when it comes to exercising. I've been doing this a long time. He's been doing this a long time too, but he's super humble. What are you doing there? Teach me this. What do you think about this? I just have acquired skills over time. So if you see somebody who's in shape, and I'll say this too, especially later in life, when you're 18 to 25, I'm not saying you don't know stuff, but there's a lot of 18 to 25-year-olds who I used to know who are in really good shape, and it was just like, yeah, no, you're young, and you have good genetics. You don't necessarily know what you're doing. I would sit Kev down and say, Kev, where do you feel like you are the most capable in life? And I probably would have said bodybuilding. I would have said fitness. And I would say, why do you feel like you're the most capable there? And he probably would have said, well, I've been doing it for the longest. Do you feel like you're skilled there? Do you feel like you really are in control? Do you feel like you could teach that to someone else? You feel like you have the awarenesses, you have the behaviors, you have the understanding, you're consistent with it. Could you teach that to someone else? Yes. Okay, you feel like you're pretty strong in that skill? Yes. The way you look right now is based on the fact that you essentially had no results for the first few years. You were just building up your skills. So to Alan's point, the iceberg, I think, I don't know, what is skills on there? What number is it?
Well, so I have a smaller iceberg that I think is easier to digest.
How many icebergs does a man need?
Just two.
Okay.
So
sure.
High level, people ask me on podcasts, what is your coaching? And what's your program? And I say it's very simple, but I could do a day-long, probably a week-long seminar on each of these, but it is simple. It's goals, metrics, habits, skills, and identity. And so skills is...
Top down?
Top down. Yep, always top down.
So skills is the second from the bottom.
Yep.
Identity's first.
And the reason why is it's the deepest. You see the metrics before you see the habits. You see the habits before you see the skills. You see the identity even deeper. To me, it's the one, I have it in the order of, for me, when I get on a coaching session with someone, it's the identity that's always holding them back most. But no one wants to start there. I always say if what you wanted was what you needed, you'd already have it. So when I first met Kev, I could show him, okay, he always could tell me what goals he wanted. Hey, I want to be wealthy. Hey, I want to have a net worth of this. Hey, I want to be a successful podcaster. Hey, I want to work for myself. Okay, awesome. Everyone wants that, but their own unique flavor, right? NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes. Everyone wants to live in their dream home and that kind of thing. Okay, that's step 1. Get clarity on what you want. Step 2 is what are the metrics you need to track that's going to keep you focused? What do you need to measure? And step 2 is what are the habits that you need to do daily that keep the train rolling? And then underneath that is the skills you have to develop, like the effective communication. Because you could easily have the habit of podcasting, but not get any better. And that would be not good. I mean, we've met people that have, and the old me wouldn't have shared this because I was too cowardly, but I've met people with the amount of episodes we have, but in all honesty, their podcast isn't good. And I would go on as a guest, and I remember thinking, and this is back when we were in the beginning, and I went on a podcast with 1,500 episodes. I remember thinking, wow, you must be unbelievable. And then I would get on the show, and I'm not trying to be unkind, I'm just being objective here. Oh, this isn't. So you're just doing the same episode over and over again, kind of. It's like a productivity podcast or whatever. Keep it anonymous. But if you look at our old episodes versus this episode, you should see a huge increase in improvement when it comes to effective communication. Even me doing top down is probably an L because most people think bottom up. So I'm a macroscopic thinker. Most people are microscopic thinkers. So they start with today and then they go to the week and then they go to, whereas I go to the decade and then reverse engineer. Mm-hmm. And so I need to work on communication because I used to think I was a strong communicator. And then I playfully say, I now know I'm a strong communicator to engineers. So if we're a group of engineers and Kevin and I are giving a speech, I will succeed more than him.
I'm in trouble.
And when it's non-engineers, Kevin always, people like him a lot better than me. And usually he gets more laughs and more head nods. Mine are more just blank stares, basically.
I'll hit him with, how are those spreadsheets today, guys? Love them. Huge fan myself of spreadsheets. Little joke to start.
But yeah, skills is near the bottom because I think it's the underneath what really is necessary to succeed. It's the deepest down that most people can't see from the surface.
Anytime we're talking about stuff like this, I have two thoughts that always pop to my head because skills, depending on what you want to do, skills become requirements. So let's hold that in one hand. I don't know what the graph would look like, but I am willing to bet the graph of age to learning to ride a bicycle are probably the polar opposite. So the older you get, the less likelihood of you riding a bicycle, learning how to ride a bicycle.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm willing to bet that because the reason is you don't need that skill as you age in life. But when you're a kid and everybody's riding bikes, that's when you learn how to ride a bike. I'm willing to bet that it's probably similar when it comes to swimming. The older one gets, and again, I'm just throwing this out, just a thought, the less likely that if they don't know how to swim, they're going to learn how to swim because you don't require that skill as you get older and older and older because you're not going to pool parties or you're not doing that type of stuff like you used to do. Some of the things that you're really good at are a byproduct of necessity. If you wanted to go to college in a different state, you had to learn how to drive so you could drive a car there or bring all your stuff and drive it back. It's the same with your goals. There is a list of skills that will be required for you to succeed at the level that you want to. How does somebody, I know we only have a couple minutes, how does somebody understand, and I know this is a blanket statement, a very hard question to answer, how does somebody understand what skills they need to develop?
These are the hardest questions for me to answer.
That's why.
Because I feel like that strategy part is, my brain just says this is the answer.
Okay.
So, but a better start would be ask someone who knows the question. So I went to you and I asked, hey, you've been studying mixed martial arts and practicing and watching it for, 15 years. Tell me what, if I were to focus on one martial art for this outcome, which is self-defense, what would I do? And you said for you, I think it would be the art of 8 limbs. You're lanky. You didn't say that, but I have these long ass limbs.
Yeah, you're tall.
And I'm tall, right? So I have a reach. And then I kind of knew, some people that we interviewed, one of them, Julian Wynn. Julian Wynn? Is that his? Yeah. Julian, we interviewed him and you went in the ring with him. So I know of the sport, right? And so I would say first step is go ask someone who has the result you want.
Okay. How would you teach me to help someone find the skills necessary? What question should I ask them? It's me and Bob. How do I help Bob figure out what
Are
skills
you coaching?
he needs?
You're coaching. Are you coaching? Are you coaching?
I'm coaching Bob? Yes, I'm coaching him.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would ask Bob what he wants to achieve.
Yep.
And Bob's a he, I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay.
Bob is he. Yep.
All right. And then you would. And then your brain would come up with the answer of what he needs. Yeah. No, I don't have an answer because. I mean, it's fairly straightforward, at least for me, and this is where I say I'm an engineer. So if you want to be an actor, you need to study acting, and you need to develop the skill of acting. So I have an actress that I'm coaching. So, but she also needs to learn business. She needs to learn show business. And therefore, she needs the skill of selling herself.
Question. Okay. There was one time where you coached someone who had like a spa?
Yeah.
Business owner?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are the 5 skills outside of owning a spa that they had to learn that maybe people wouldn't necessarily guess that they would need to learn?
One is social media. She had to get really good at social media.
Okay.
Which platform was the most important for her? It was Instagram. Okay. How do you create content that's compelling and engaging? And so, okay. The next is branding, marketing, and sales. Those are skills. So branding is who you are and what you are when no one's watching. So when you think of Nike, you think of something different than if you think of UFC. UFC has a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then marketing is who are you targeting? Who's your ideal customer? So not everything is for everyone. So for us, it's heart-driven, but no BS, holistic self-improvement for dream chasers. It's people who have enough self-belief and enough humility to actually learn, who are into self-improvement, but have maybe struggle with self-worth and courage, and they're cowards like us. I'm kidding. But honestly, we all struggle with courage. That's one thing that I've noticed about our community is we don't have enough social courage. And I'm not trying to, Kev says, don't tell people about people. All right. I'm saying that you would benefit from more courage. So would I.
Well, and we're leading the charge, and you tend to attract what you are, and Alan and I that's the thing that we look back on. We both had really low self-worth.
Thank you for that clarification.
Indeed.
Okay, so that's branding, marketing, sales, and then social media, which kind of is branding, marketing, and sales, but social media is the vehicle, so this gets a little esoteric. Okay. And then the last one that I would pick for her, well, in her case, she was acupuncture and massage and that kind of thing, so she obviously needs those skills, which is actually what is profitable, more so than some of the other stuff. So it's very specific, and that's actually why it's really difficult for me on podcasts to give solid answers, because it's completely dependent on the goal that you want. So every business needs branding, marketing, sales, community, and client delivery, but the way in which they apply those principles has to be different based on the industry and their goals.
Did you give us the last one?
Yeah, I said acupuncture or massage.
Well, that's like
the thing.
Yeah,
you want to do things that they wouldn't think of.
That's like skydiving. You have to learn how to skydive.
Finance. So spreadsheets, tracking. So Kev, for example, you mentioned necessity. I remember early on, you and I in the studio, and you're like, "Dude, where did you learn all this?" When we were doing spreadsheets for the first time, and how did you learn all this? Was your question, and I said I had to learn all this. And you're like, "Well, what do you mean?" And what I didn't know at the time that I should have explained is, I remember in my early 20s, I was responsible for a portfolio of over 80 million in revenue. And my boss's boss said, Alan's going to grow this to 120. And I remember thinking, I am screwed. There's no way I'm growing this thing to 120. Now I know he was just talking. I grew it to 100, so I'm glad he challenged me. But at the end of the day, I had to learn all that in order to do the marketing analysis and all that stuff. You don't learn things to learn things. You learn things to achieve goals. That's why I think people without goals are in trouble. I learned how to do a resume. I'm helping many of my clients with their resume. Why? I had to build my own resume.
If you need help, reach out to Alan. Don't reach out to me.
Kev was an avid fisherman on his resume. I was an avid
and studied the martial arts.
Exactly. So if you ever need to catch fish and or fight in your job.
You want to catch fish and kick ass.
Kev is your guy.
Hire me.
But I had a goal when I was a kid to, be successful in video games and computers. And so I had to learn internet connection and all that different stuff. And so now I know computers really well, not because I decided to love computers, but because my goals required me to learn computers as a computer engineer. So I think goals are the most important thing, because if you don't have them, even if they're the wrong goals, at least they're going to give you some direction towards some skill acquisition. All success in the external world, and this is not included in your intimate relation, but okay, to be with Emilia, I have to develop the skill of humility. I have to develop the skill of emotional intelligence. I have to develop the skill of vulnerability. And one could argue that's an attitude, a knowledge, and a skill. You have to study it. You have to have a positive attitude mindset with it, and then you also have to develop a skill. But ultimately, what skills do you need to develop to make this in a bow for everybody? What are the skills that you don't yet have at a strong enough level to achieve your goals?
A good question is why? Hasn't it happened yet? Because I'm not good enough at blank. Or I don't know how to blank. Those are skills. If you're not good at something, that is a potentiality for a skill. I always say the people I would bet on are the people who you talk to, you give them a new awareness, and they go take action immediately. I think the reason I always am drawn to that is because they're going to try to practice the skill immediately. They understand that's the bottleneck. All right, cool. Next Level Nation, if you have not yet gotten your Next Level Dreamliner, I have used it every single day. I know there's 51 days left in the year, and it's wild to me that it's already almost the middle of November, but it is on Amazon. We have hardcover, we have soft cover. I think we have it in 3 very, very nice colors. So if you want to make sure, light blue,
dark blue, and black. For those of you who don't want a dirty journal, black is the way.
Wait, black is the way?
I do dark blue because I love blue. Favorite color.
Doesn't it get a little dirty, though? I feel like light blue would probably be the least dirty, no?
No, light blue would be the most dirty, man.
Yeah, maybe. It's fair play.
Yeah, black.
Well, it's on Amazon, and again, I know it's our product, but trust me, if it wasn't good, I would tell you. I love using it. Huge fan. I use it every day. It's one of the highlights of my day, genuinely, and I definitely notice a difference when I use it versus when I don't. And as Alan mentioned, Alan is the goal engineer. He is the dream engineer. He can help you reverse engineer your goals. I am the best case study because Alan has been coaching me longer than anyone else. And I've had the opportunity to work with Alan pretty much every single day. Opportunity or pain, depending on how you want to look at it. Pretty much every day for the last 8 years. And Alan is the biggest reason why I am where I am today. So if you're looking for a coach, Alan does free 30-minute sessions. And he's not going to sell you anything. You know us. We want to give away as much value as humanly possible. If you're interested after, cool, you can talk about that. But it is not... We don't go into calls thinking, okay, my job is to sell this person on coaching. That's not the way we do it. It's free for a reason.
Well, Kev, you implement very quickly.
I appreciate that very much.
It's been really good. New awareness, we call it the awareness implementation gap. Yours is very small. You go from new awareness to action very, very quick. And that's been a huge thing. So for anyone out there who is, humble and driven and just needs the how-to, I've realized over time the how is the part that I have trouble answering questions on. And the reason why is because my brain just calculates a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to lean into that.
How to Jeff. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep after it. Next Level Nation.